Hello, I'm Letty Leong, author of Gay Mayor. Gay Mayor is available at e-bookstores, including Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can find more information on my website, www.gaymayorll.com. The two L's after Gay Mayor are for my initials. I don't write page-turners. I don't write about catastrophic events. I'm a storyteller. I tell stories about a specific person who has motives, fears, and desires, someone who is flawed and desperately tries to prove themselves. I write from the first-person point of view, which means that my main character narrates the story. In my novel, Gay Mayor, Davian Weaver becomes the first gay mayor of Portland, Oregon, but has to keep his sexuality a secret. His success builds up while his health breaks down. This threatens to silence him and stop his fight for gay rights. He uses all his strength to struggle against the Concerned Oregon Public, the group that hopes to pass their constitutional amendment denying equal rights to gays. I lived in Portland while these events occurred in the 1980s and 90s. The situation is different now. Portland and 3 other cities currently have a gay or lesbian mayor. Today, I'll read 5 minutes from pages in the second quarter of Gay Mayor. You have to help me, Clark, or I will lose my job. You're in trouble with the law? Yes. It was as if I had sabotaged myself. In Washington? Yes. I hated to think about it. I couldn't believe I had done this. Okay, where exactly? On the interstate, outside of Ridgefield. I felt embarrassed by my conduct. I drove to Clark Starker's law office in Vancouver, Washington, just across the river from Portland. Clark was an old gay friend of mine, close to 50, pot-bellied, small-mouthed, had a bald spot with a fringe of hair around it, and wore glasses. He gestured for me to sit in one of the plush velour chairs. He sat in the other one, at the end of the small rug. Heavy moire drapes muted the street sounds. They shut out all daylight, so fringed satin floor lamps lit the area beside each chair. A small red oriental rug lay in front of the floor-to-ceiling bookcase. The shelves displayed a clock, numerous photos, and tiny cat knickknacks, along with the usual fat legal reference books. Clark sprayed something into both nostrils. He continued with questions. Oh, so it was a traffic accident? No. This time I would really lose my job. Was anyone hurt? No, nobody. I was humiliated and felt so stupid. Okay, when did this happen? Just last night, maybe past midnight. I don't know for sure. Who did I think I was? Was anyone else involved? Yes, it was demeaning to be a mayor in this situation. I sense you don't want to tell me the details. I was ashamed of myself. This was hard to talk about, even to a gay friend. I hated to admit I had been so naive. Clark continued, If you expect me to help you, you better tell me everything. I suspect this did not occur on the interstate. No, at the rest stop. Who else was involved? An undercover cop. Clark covered his hair with his hands, slid them down to his chin, and shook his head. You were arrested for solicitation. Yes. You are so stupid. Yes, Clark, I am. Okay, glad we got that settled. Now tell me every detail. I lowered my head on my palms while resting my elbows on my knees. I tried to quiet myself so I wouldn't break out crying. I could lose my job. I tried to figure out why I acted that way. Maybe I reasoned no one would ever mistreat me. Maybe I didn't reason at all. Well, I said, I was walking into the rest area, and this man came in at the same time. My voice sounded hoarse. It was just the two of us. We were chatting. He seemed so nice as he shared some sad situation of his. I put my hand on his shoulder, thinking that would make him feel better. He put his hand on my belt. I lowered my other hand to his waist. He asked me if I wanted drugs. I didn't know you used. I don't. Anyway, I said I wanted something else. He looked up at me and smiled. I took a deep breath and continued. He asked if I wanted to have sex. He was so charming. I said yes and asked him where we could do it. He started to pull down his zipper. I let my pants fall down to the ground. You exposed yourself? Yeah, I guess so. He pushed me around so I faced the wall. I raised my arms against the wall to steady myself. That's when he cuffed me. I thought it was just going to be part of the sex until he started reciting my rights. That's when I realized what had happened. You're so stupid. He waited until you couldn't run away. Yes, Clark. Did he recognize you? I don't think so. The most embarrassing was after he cuffed me, I couldn't even pull up my own pants. Clark screwed up his nose, sniffled, and wiped his nose along his shirt sleeve. Well, I've faced this situation with others. We only have to deny you did it and question whether his valid testimony is more valid than your own. I can't deny it. After all, I did it. What? You have a strange sense of morals. It's okay to expose yourself to a cop, but it's not okay to deny it? What the hell do you want me to do then? Get me off. I admit my stupidity and my trouble with trusting strangers. Oh, and no press. I don't need the publicity. Yeah, right. Well, I can try to get an appointment with a judge and see if we can meet with him in his quarters. You will have to be present, face the judge, and admit to the felony. That's all. You will have to let me do the rest of the talking. I nodded. He walked over to his cluttered roll-top desk that gaped open. On the desktop stood an old-fashioned dial phone with no buttons to push. One of the judges owes me a favor. I'll see what I can do. He picked up the phone and dialed. After a while, I could hear his pleading voice, but wasn't able to understand any words. He hung up, but stayed in place for a minute, with his hand over his mouth. Then he came back to his chair. It wasn't the judge I had wanted, but this one might be okay. He will meet us in his office for a private consultation. He is angry because he has had to cancel his lunch with the boys and wants you to know he is making the sacrifice. What sacrifice will he expect from me? I'm already doing public service. I don't know what to expect. The appointment is for tomorrow at noon. Be there 15 minutes early. Meet me at the back entrance.